Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Report for duty today. The 33rd Olympic Games in Paris comes to a grand climax this weekend with the last set of medals being presented and the closing ceremony. But there's a little feature of the Games that is very important. Yesterday, for example, we saw the opening rounds of the traditional sprint relays for men and for women. Some teams fielded reserves, hoping to use their top athletes for the finals. But there was at least one country that their relay team lost two of their top members very early in the week, and the management team had to fly in one person from overseas who was not originally part of the team to fill the gap. Can you believe it? Imagine you were left back home because you were not chosen to go to the Olympics. Then there you are, going about your business, and you get a call, an urgent call, saying that they need your services. What do? They would not have to ask me twice. Just think of the honor to be called on at the 11th hour to represent my country. They need me in this critical time. How can I not say yes? Incidentally, the athlete made it to Paris, and that team is in the finals of one of the relays, thanks to the heroic response of that late invited athlete. In Israel, for example, it is the law that all young people are drafted to serve in the military for a minimum of 2 years for women and 3 years for men. For some people, that can be scary, and for others, that is seen as an honor to serve the country, knowing that you might die in service. Let us hear the story of one young, zealous Jewish man. We're talking about the Apostle Paul. He was not always an apostle. In fact, we first met him in Acts 7. It was the occasion of executing a young man by the name of Stephen. Execution by stoning. Stephen was an enthusiastic and devout member of this new religious movement that had Jesus as their leader right in Jerusalem. That angered the traditional religious leaders, powerful men in the society, and so young Stephen was brought before a tribunal of civic and religious leaders, and Stephen's bold testimony just angered them more, and so they dragged him out of the courtroom outside the walls of the city and started to stone him. Meanwhile, the witnesses laid their coats at the feet of a young man named Saul. Acts 7 and verse 58. Saul later became the head of the persecution team that went about arresting and beating Christians who were caught worshiping Jesus. Things got so bad in Jerusalem that many of these Christians, they fled the city for fear of their lives and relocated in nearby towns. One day, Saul went to the religious leaders for papers authorizing him to conduct a raid in a nearby town called Damascus. Saul was brutal, cruel, and ruthless against anyone who identified as a disciple of Jesus. While he was on his way, he had a strange experience. As he journeyed, he came near to Damascus, and suddenly a light shone around him from heaven. Then he fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he said, "Who are you, Lord?" Then the Lord said, "I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. It is hard for you to kick against the goads." So he, trembling and not astonished, said, "Lord, what do you want me to do?" Then the Lord said to him, "Arise and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." Acts 9 verses 4 to 6. Did you hear that? Saul had this strange encounter with Jesus, and Jesus told him outright that you are not attacking my disciples, you are attacking me. And I would add, you don't want to do that. This violent, cruel man who hated Christians and who wanted them all dead had a weird meeting with the Jesus who is the head of the Christian community, and Saul buckled under the weight of that meeting. He surrendered to Jesus right then and there. Lord, what do you want me to do? My friend, that was the turning point in Saul's life. First of all, Saul's question indicates that he has come to realize that Jesus is Lord. That was the main thing that fueled his passion to terrorize the Christian community in and around Jerusalem, because in the ancient religion of Judaism, of which Paul was a high-ranking official, it was sacrilegious to call anyone else Lord except Jehovah God. And these people who were serving Jesus, Paul felt that it was an egregious offense, and his mission was to destroy every one of them. Secondly, and more important, is the question, what do you want me to do? You don't want some time to think about it? No. Saul had a dramatic change of heart, and in that first encounter with Jesus, he was saying to Jesus, Jesus, for all the wrongs I've done to your people, I am willing to not just stop, but I'm making myself available to you, beginning as of now. 3 days later, Saul got a message from God. It was his assignment. This man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and to the people of Israel. I will show him how much he must suffer for my name. Acts 9 verses 15 and 16. That was how Saul got involved in Christian ministry, and for the rest of his life, more than 30 years, he spread the gospel across towns and cities and foreign countries, and his unparalleled service led to him being arrested and sent to Rome, the capital of the empire. There he was executed for his devotion to Jesus. Our topic today says, report for duty today. That is a message to you, my friend. Jesus has work for you. He has work for you to do. The simplest request of Jesus is, be that person who will gladly tell others about me and win them for me. Jesus wants you. Jesus needs you to service. The draft in Israel means that the military is guaranteed a strong and large group of men and women serving in the defense of their country. Jesus wants more people to share in the spreading of the gospel at home and abroad. Jesus might have plans for you to go to a foreign country or to actively share the gospel with people in your neighborhood, at your workplace, at the gym, on your college campus. Jesus might want to use you and your social media platform to spread the gospel. Whatever it is, I don't profess to know, but one thing I do know, one thing I am sure of, in this 2024 year, Jesus wants you to report for service. Jesus wants to use you in the spreading of the gospel. And so I close by saying to you, my friend, report for duty today.